Washington Times front page for Wednesday, July 10th, 2024. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. Polish President Andrzej Duda sharply rejected the notion of any ceasefire deal that would require Ukraine to cede territory to Russia. Ben Wolfgang and Guy Taylor spoke with Duda during his visit to Washington for the 75th anniversary gathering of NATO. He drew a clear line in the sand while China, fellow NATO ally Hungary, and some leading American politicians are amplifying calls for a rapid negotiated end to the conflict. Russia controls and has annexed an estimated 20% of Ukraine's territory in the east and south, more than 2 years after its invasion in February 2022. Key Asian allies are also in attendance at the summit this week in Washington. Andrew Salmon reports the leaders of Japan, South Korea, and New Zealand are a part of the gathering. China's dual-use exports to Russia and the Kremlin's warming ties with North Korea are expected to be on the agenda. The so-called Indo-Pacific Four, which also includes Australia, has attended NATO summits for the past 2 years. A NATO IP4 session is set for Thursday. As he helms the summit, President Biden is determined to show he's not too old for the White House, while Democratic lawmakers closely watch his performance. The president, Susan Ferricchio reports, is scrambling to tamp down calls to step aside after his June 27th debate performance and a cascade of leaks about his acuity. Biden has stayed defiant, refusing to step aside. With the Democratic National Convention just weeks away, many in the party are begrudgingly sticking with him. Donald Trump is expected to accept the presidential nomination at the Republican National Convention next week after he names not only his running mate, but also the early favorite to be the GOP standard bearer in 2028. Seth MacLaughlin reports Trump has been open about some of those under consideration, but he's kept his cards close to the vest on a decision poised to reverberate in the party for years. The former president's followers are looking to him for guidance on someone to continue his Make America Great Again platform, though some Republicans hope he chooses someone from a more traditional mold. And finally, some legal analysts say Trump could have the power to pardon himself from federal charges if he's reelected, thanks to the Supreme Court's ruling last week on presidential immunity. Though the court's decision did not directly address the issue of self-pardons, legal analysts who talked with our Alex Swoyer say the opinion's wording would provide cover for the scandal-plagued former president. The July 1st decision bolstered executive powers and divided the court 6-3 along ideological lines. The majority ruled that the president has absolute immunity from prosecution for official acts as chief executive. Find all of today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us on social media at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.